2025 has been a fast yet long year. Last year, I went over my favorite DC Multiverse figures from McFarlane Toys in 2024. Today, I want to share my top 10. Now, I haven't collected the comic book figures. There are some I wasn't able to find, but mostly I'm a movie collector. So these figures are going to be from the movie wave. And it's safe to say that this year I did not go as overboard as I did last year. I got a little bit more Superman, but we also added to the Batman collection. Here are my top 10 DC Multiverse figures of 2025. Here at number 10 would be Batman. And this goes for the 89 and returns for different reasons. The 89 one I love. I had to actually customize the black coloring around the logo for the embossing because it was all yellow and I wanted to match the movie. The gold belt is a bit different, more like the Kenner toys, where in the movie you had a yellow belt. I had this in the movie pack but never opened it. And then I had the Gold Label edition, which basically resembled more of the Kenner. The bat cape looked really nice. It's a type of fabric. I wish it was a wired cape, but overall it looks nice. The neck area does resemble a bit more of Clooney and is thin. I mean, I could probably put some epoxy clay and add to it, but overall, if it wasn't for that, this definitely would have been higher. Where the returns figure fixed the neck problem, it still has a gold belt, but outside the display stand breaking on my first try, you can see in my unboxing, the cape here is beautifully wired, but it tends to stick out and it's way too short. That made it one of the most disappointing figures for my favorite suit here. And because of that, even though it's a great design, it's lower on my list. It would have been much higher if it wasn't for the shortcomings and just kind of like shortcuts McFarlane Toys took, but I like the gauntlets here. It's a mix of both. If you basically had the cape length of the Flash figure and added a yellow belt, this would have been perfect. While they're flawed, they still look nice in their own way for McFarlane Toys, despite the shortcuts taken, especially with the shoes and just basically recycled parts. But because of that, these figures are much lower on my list than they would have been, which is sad because they're my highly anticipated for the year. Next up at number 9 is Lex Luthor from Superman 2025. This was part of the deluxe theatrical waves. This wave, just any deluxe theatrical wave, in my opinion, is way too expensive, but at least it included some accessories. If you look at my unboxing earlier in the year, he has multiple heads. He comes with a baby kaiju. It's a cute little thing. My dog, Mr. Benny, loved this. I love this accessory, but I love the purple. You know, it kind of feels like that John Byrne era Lex Luthor mixed with like Michael Rosenbaum. And Nicholas Hoult did such an amazing job as Lex. It's nice to have an actual cinematic Lex. We don't even have Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey, or anybody else, not even Jesse Eisenberg. So it's nice to have a live-action Lex. I've seen people customize this with the armor suit. For my first cinematic Lex figure, and the first one that I think McFarlane has done outside the comic books, this is not a bad way to go for, let's just say, one of the most hateful villains of the year. So yeah, if you're wondering about getting this, get it. I got it on clearance and I pressed A1. After that, at number 8 is Alfred from BVS. I was excited to see that Jeremy Irons had a figure. You know, the Michael Guff one from the Batman Anthology came with the Batman Forever Batmobile. And this took a while with the tariffs and the delays. This I ordered a long time, probably March of this year, and it didn't arrive till July. But I like how it looks, and it comes with an apron. You can see that they kind of recycled a bit of the Heath Ledger interrogation Joker figure, you know. But other than that, I'm just glad to have Jeremy Irons and with the glasses and everything. I mean, I'm a fan of the Snyderverse and the DCEU. I love Ben Affleck's Batman, and it's nice to have his Alfred there. I guess on worst case scenario, you could have a Simon Says game and make a, Simon Grouper figure from Die Hard with a Vengeance. But overall, it's cool having this Alfred with a selection of tools. You know, he comes with pliers and a wrench and different stuff like that, screwdriver. Overall, this is not a bad figure for the kind of BVS wave from last year. It's just one of my favorites and kind of more lifelike to the actor, in my opinion. At number 7 is Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific is a terrific figure. Sadly, this was not on clearance, and I got this after seeing the movie. I just felt like getting it before it ran out. They also had the robots, but I probably would have got it if his name was Calyx instead of Gary. But overall, this is goddamn Mr. Terrific, and he's a terrific figure. I like him with the T-spheres. He came with different face plates, although I wish he came with more accessories in this wave, like Superman and Lex, but he has fair play here. And the jacket, I mean, this is comic book accurate down to a T, and it'll go with the Arrowverse stuff. And I know it's a different universe, but I wanted a Mr. Terrific figure to go with the Sholo Meridueña, Blue Beetle, and Ray Fisher Cyborg. I know they're different universes, but just having that team there, like from the comics, would be cool. And if you ask me, he was the standout of the Justice Gang. This is definitely one of my favorites from the Superman 2025 wave. After that, at number 6 is the Danny DeVito Penguin figure. This is the movie wave. I love the wool coat here. You know, there is an extra coat that came with the Penguin Commandos. And I like the flipper here. There's technically a flipper, but it just appeared more like digits. And because of that, it's a little bit lower on my list. But he has a removable hat. The eyes are crazy, but it matches Dan DeVito's portrayal down to a T. And this is just one of my favorite figures, you know. Because back when we were growing up in the 90s, the Kenner toys were great, but there are a lot of the reused figures of the older DC ones. And we didn't have like a full-blown Dan DeVito figure like this. So like to have like a movie-accurate toy 30 years later, just about more than 30 years later, it's just a blessing and just one of the greatest surprises for McFarlane Toys. I do think, however, that this wave here was totally overpriced. You could have him with Mr. Freeze and they could be twins, you know. And what can I say? He looks really great next to his babies. Definitely a highlight from this year. Next up at number 5 is the Red Platinum Max Shreck figure. This was a difficult figure to find. I did not get it upon release date, but I got lucky on a restock GameStop online. And yeah, we have Christopher Walken. And I love this, you know. It's a little bit more like Joker in a way, but it's totally Max Shreck with the face and everything. It's like, one can never have too much action figures. If my life has a meaning, that's the meaning. And I just love having a younger Christopher Walken here. Because, you know, they did Emperor Shaddam IV on Dune. So it's nice to have this. And it's an unexpected figure, to say the least. That also comes with his, like, electrocuted head. I just find it a little morbid that McFarlane would actually put the electrocuted head as an option. And it goes really well when Catwoman gives a kiss to Santa Claus. After that, at number 4 is another Red Platinum of the year, and that is Scarecrow. Unfortunately, my Targets are poorly stocked. They never have stuff out. The employees take stuff. So this one actually won off the EQL lottery. And I got lucky because I unfortunately missed out on the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, but I'm kind of glad because this Scarecrow is worth it and kind of has Cillian Murphy's eyes underneath, you know? It's really good in that regard. It has like rope material around for a new weathered look to it. And yeah, just for one of my favorite kind of underrated villains of the Dark Knight Trilogy, this is an awesome figure for the Dark Knight wave and for any Batman collector to have a cinematic Scarecrow like this. I like this better than the other one with a straight jacket. This is like a nice grounded street level Scarecrow from Batman Begins. And he's just one of my favorite detailed Batman figures that the DC Multiverse line put out this year. At number 3 is the Batman Begins Batman. And the only reason why it's a little bit lower is I kind of messed up on the cape here. There's little lines where the cape should connect to, and it's a little short in that regard. But other than that, I mean, I love this suit from Batman Begins. I have it, you could have his head straight, but I kind of had him that teaser poster pose. And I just love Christian Bale's figure. I got the Dark Knight one last year, and this one I couldn't pass up on the 20th anniversary of the film this year. I can't wait to see what they do with Brendan Routh's figure, but this is just one of my favorite Batman figures for Bale. And he comes with little batarangs and different accessories. It has kind of like raincoat material for the cape, but this is just an awesome figure for any Batman collector. And as a movie fan, I'm totally in love with the look of this figure. And it's great that it comes in black. At number 2, my favorite new figure of the year is David Cornsett's Superman with Krypto, the deluxe theatrical edition. A little bit overpriced on the wave, but at least it came with Krypto and different face plates, so you could have laser vision and all that type of cool stuff. I like the shade of blue. I like how he has a cloth wired cape to match Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeve's figures. Krypto is so cute and adorable. My dog, Mr. Benny, still is jealous of him, but overall, it's nice, and I got it mainly for Krypto. But the regular Ross edition and kind of basic DC Multiverse with the rubber cape looks amazing. And I think might be even better than this, but it's just my personal second favorite of the year. And as far as new figures, it's my favorite. And the likeness is still pretty spot on. It's before I knew about the Fonjoy, but there's like kind of some pros and cons of both, in my opinion. And for this scale, a superb figure. And number one is Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman from Batman Returns. This is like the most beautiful figure. I think it's my favorite Anne Hathaway's Catwoman, and definitely like Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy. It's a shame McFarlane doesn't do more female figures, let alone Catwoman. It doesn't have like a rubber rope, like a whip, like a rubber whip, like the previous ones in the 90s, but to have an actual screen accurate like Danny DeVito's Penguin is just something incredible in this day and age. How they got the corset, the stitching detail, the look of like the suit. Oh my god, this is just an awesome figure, and I think my personal favorite from the DC Multiverse movie waves. This figure is nothing short of perfection. Anyway, those are my favorite. I'm mostly a movie collector, but I would have loved to see Batman Year One. Sadly, it wasn't at my Walmarts. They said it was in stock. It's never in stock. I had a chance to get Cyborg Superman, but I did get Huntress, but she was from the previous year. I'm happy with the movie figures, but with the tariffs and everything, the quality has kind of gone down, and this is going to be the last stretch. I can't wait to see what the Brandon Routh Superman figure, Henry Cavill, as well as the Supergirl and Jack Nicholson figure will look like next year. But let me know down in the comments below, what were your favorite McFarlane toys or DC Multiverse figures from 2025? Let me know down in the comments below. Till next time.